The Big Leap, Conquer Your Hidden Fear and Take Life to the Next Level, by Gay Hendricks. Introduction. Imagine a man named Drive. Richard Jordan. He's built a successful small business, a lifetime of work, and a larger company has noticed. They make him an offer, $3 million. Cash. Plus a generous 2-year contract to stay on. After weeks of negotiation, they are on the very edge of signing the deal. $3 million. Life-changing money. Then, one morning, Drive. Jordan wakes up with a few concerns. The new contract offers him 2 fewer weeks of vacation than he's used to. 2 weeks. He gets on the phone with the negotiator, and what starts as a concern turns into an angry confrontation over this small detail. The call ends badly. A letter arrives soon after. The company, citing the force of his remarks, is no longer interested. In one heated phone call, he waved goodbye to $3 million. For years, he woke up with a knot in his stomach. How could he have been so foolish? But then, he said, he finally found the diamond in the dust. After deep reflection, he realized what he was really saying in that phone call. He was screaming, "Wait a minute, $3 million? That's way more than I'm worth. I cannot allow this." He had snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. He had hit an invisible ceiling and, without even knowing it, brought himself crashing back down. What if I told you that every single one of us has a similar invisible ceiling? A hidden barrier that determines exactly how much success, how much love, and how much happiness we allow ourselves to experience. And the moment we try to push past it, we find a way, often a dramatic way, to sabotage ourselves and pull ourselves back down to what feels familiar and safe. Today, we're exploring a book that acts as a blueprint for shattering that ceiling. It's called The Big Leap, by the brilliant psychologist and teacher, Gay Hendricks. This isn't just another self-help book, it's a profound exploration of the one single problem that holds us back from our ultimate potential. Hendricks has coached over 800 executives at companies like Dell and Hewlett-Packard, and he says he's never met a single person who doesn't suffer from this one problem. By the end of our time together, you will understand what this hidden barrier is, how to spot it in your own life, and most importantly, how to dismantle it, piece by piece, so you can finally step into what Hendricks calls your zone of genius. This is the secret to unlocking a life of extraordinary abundance, creativity, and love. So, get ready. We're about to take the big leap. Book summary. Have you ever had a moment where everything was going perfectly? Maybe you just got a huge promotion, or you had a perfect, harmonious day with your family, or you felt a surge of creative energy and inspiration. You're leaning back, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction and joy. And then, it happens. A few seconds later, you find yourself worrying. Anxious thoughts bubble up out of nowhere. You start an argument over something trivial. You get a sudden headache or feel an old injury flare up. That beautiful feeling of joy evaporates, replaced by stress, conflict, or pain. The good feelings are gone, and you're back to feeling normal. Gay Hendricks had this exact experience one day at his office at Stanford University. His work was going well, his relationships were happy, and he leaned back in his chair feeling a wave of pure contentment. But moments later, he found himself consumed with worry about his daughter, who was away at a summer program. Painful images filled his mind, his daughter lonely, miserable, being taunted by other kids. The joy vanished. Panicked, he called her dorm, only to be told she was perfectly fine, happily playing soccer with her friends. Hanging up the phone, a huge realization dawned on him. He asked himself, how did I go from feeling so good one moment to manufacturing a stream of painful images the next? And the answer hit him like a lightning bolt. He manufactured the painful thoughts because he was feeling good. Some part of him was afraid of enjoying that positive energy for too long. When he reached his internal limit for how much joy he could handle, he unconsciously created negative thoughts to bring himself back down to a more familiar, less joyful state. This, my friend, is the essence of what Gay Hendricks calls the upper limit problem. Think of it like an inner thermostat. Each of us has a setting for how much love, success, and happiness we're comfortable with. This setting usually gets programmed in early childhood, long before we're aware of it. When life is going well and we exceed that setting, when we feel too good or become too successful, an alarm goes off inside us. Unconsciously, we then do something to sabotage ourselves, to bring our happiness back down to the familiar temperature on our inner thermostat. This is why lottery winners so often end up broke and miserable within a few years. It's why celebrities have public meltdowns at the peak of their careers. And it's why we pick a fight with our partner right after a perfect, intimate evening. The newfound success trips our upper limit switch, and we plummet back to the setting we've grown used to. Hendricks says this is the only problem we need to solve. Because if we don't, it will be a drag on us until the day we die, holding us back from our true potential. But the good news is, we can solve it. We can turn up the thermostat. To do that, we first have to understand what's holding the old setting in place. Hendricks discovered that the upper limit problem is built on a foundation of 4 hidden barriers. These are false beliefs we picked up in childhood that operate just below the level of our awareness. See if any of these resonate with you. The first hidden barrier is the feeling of being fundamentally flawed. This is the deep, nagging belief that there's something wrong with us. That we are bad, unworthy, or undeserving of great things. If this belief is running in your subconscious, then every time you achieve something wonderful, it creates a clash in your mind. The thought goes something like this: how can I be this happy and successful when I am, at my core, a flawed person? This conflict feels uncomfortable, so to resolve it, you do something to mess things up. You create a problem that proves your old belief was right all along. Good things don't happen to flawed people like you. Hendricks shares the story of a client named Carl, whose father could never look at him without feeling hatred for Carl's mother after a bitter divorce. Carl grew up feeling like he had committed some terrible, unspoken crime. As an adult, whenever he experienced success, he would unconsciously sabotage it, because deep down, he believed he was fundamentally bad and didn't deserve it. The crucial thing to understand is that the crime had nothing to do with him. He was innocent. But he had convicted himself anyway. The second hidden barrier is the fear of disloyalty and abandonment. This barrier whispers, if I become too successful, I will end up all alone. I will be disloyal to my roots and leave my people behind. This is especially common for people who are the first in their family to achieve a certain level of success, whether it's going to college, starting a business, or becoming wealthy. On an unconscious level, you feel a sense of guilt. Your success feels like a betrayal of your family or the community you came from. To avoid this feeling of disloyalty, you put the brakes on your own success. You follow a big breakthrough with a bout of self-punishment. Hendricks tells a vivid story of a newlywed couple, Robert and Dee. Robert came from an old money family, and Dee was raised in a hippie commune. His family disapproved of her. The day Robert finished his medical residency, they impulsively drove to Reno and got married, defying his family's wishes for a fancy, formal wedding. On their way to celebrate with her mother, they pulled over in the woods for a romantic moment, and ended up rolling in a giant patch of poison oak. They spent their honeymoon in agony, covered in an itchy rash. They were punishing themselves. Their act of rebellion and love, getting married on their own terms, felt like a betrayal of Robert's roots. The poison oak was their unconscious way of bringing themselves back down, of creating suffering to balance out their joy and their perceived disloyalty. The third hidden barrier is the belief that more success brings a bigger burden. The unconscious mantra here is, I can't expand to my full potential, because I would just be an even bigger burden on the people around me. Hendricks shares his own deeply personal story here. His father died shortly after he was conceived, leaving his young mother with another child and very little money. His birth was, in many ways, a huge burden on his mother, who fell into a depression. Fortunately, his grandparents lived next door and were overjoyed to have a baby boy around. So from the moment he was born, he received two powerful, mixed messages: you are a burden, and you are a celebration. This pattern followed him into adulthood. He would have a big success, like publishing his first book, and then immediately feel like he was a burden on the world. He'd present the book to his mother and brother, and they would set it aside without a word, making him feel that his success was just another weight upon them. He realized later that he had convicted himself of the crime of being a burden, a crime he was completely innocent of. The fourth and final hidden barrier is the crime of outshining. This is a powerful one, especially for gifted and talented people. The unconscious thought is, I must not expand to my full success, because if I did, I would outshine someone important and make them look or feel bad. As a child, you might have learned to dim your own light to avoid making a sibling, or even a parent, feel jealous or inadequate. You were told, directly or indirectly, don't shine too brightly. It's not fair to the others. Hendricks tells the incredible story of his friend, the musician Kenny Loggins. In his early 20s, Loggins and his partner Jim Messina conquered the music world. But both of them had grown up as gifted children competing with a favored sibling, and both had received hidden messages not to outshine them. Together, as brother figures, they could both shine. But when they went solo, the old fear came roaring back. They were now afraid of outshining each other. Even as Kenny Loggins was cranking out massive solo hits and winning Grammys, he couldn't let himself enjoy it. After every success, he would get sick, have an accident, or mess up a relationship. He was unconsciously sabotaging his own celebration. The turning point came at the Grammy Awards. He took the stage to sing his huge hit, I'm All Right, and in a moment of perfect irony, the microphone didn't work. He had literally lost his voice at the peak of his career. That moment forced him to reflect. He realized he was holding back, creating pop hits that were successful but didn't come from his deepest genius. This led him to take his own big leap, creating the album Leap of Faith, a masterpiece that became a massive hit and an anthem for a generation. So, these are the four hidden barriers: feeling flawed, disloyalty, being a burden, and outshining. These are the false foundations holding your upper limit problem in place. The first step is just to see them, to recognize which ones might be operating in your life. Because the moment you shine the light of awareness on them, they begin to dissolve. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I see the barriers. But how does this actually show up in my day-to-day life? Hendricks gives us several very specific, common behaviors to watch for. These are the warning signs, the red flags that you are upper limiting yourself. The most common one is worry. When things are going well, you suddenly start worrying about things that you have no control over. The worry isn't useful, it's just noise designed to bring down your positive energy. Hendricks tells you to ask two questions when a worry thought appears. First, is it a real possibility? And second, is there any action I can take right now to make a positive difference? If the answer to either is no, then the worry is just an upper limit symptom. It's a signal that something positive is trying to emerge, and your old programming is trying to stop it. The trick isn't to fight the worry, but to let it go and wonder, what positive new thing is trying to come into being? Another common symptom is blame and criticism. When we hit our upper limit, we often start finding fault with others, or with ourselves. It's an addiction that destroys intimacy. Hendricks tells a fantastic story about a billionaire client who was constantly criticizing his wife for buying expensive toilet paper. Through coaching, the man realized the toilet paper wasn't the real issue. Deep down, he didn't feel he deserved to be both wealthy and loved. His parents had a wealthy but conflict-filled marriage, and he was unconsciously recreating that pattern. Money arguments, Hendricks says, are never about money. They are about something deeper. Then there's deflecting. This is when you brush off a compliment or refuse to acknowledge positive energy. Someone says, "You did a great job on that presentation," and you reply, "Nah, I messed up the ending." You're preventing the positive energy from landing. Instead, the move is to simply pause, let the compliment in, and say, "Thank you. I appreciate you saying that." By extending your ability to receive positive feelings, you expand your tolerance for things going well. And of course, there's squabbling. Arguments are one of the fastest ways to kill good feelings. When things are going well, you can instantly crimp the flow of positive energy by starting a conflict. Hendricks explains that arguments are almost always caused by two people racing to occupy the victim position. "Why are you doing this to me?" one person says, trying to make the other person the persecutor. The only way to solve this is for both people to stop trying to be the victim and instead take 100% responsibility for resolving the conflict. Finally, and this one is subtle, a major upper limit symptom is getting sick or getting hurt. When things are going great, right after a big win or during a period of deep intimacy, some of us develop a pattern of getting a cold, a headache, or having a clumsy accident. The illness or injury serves a purpose. It can be a form of self-punishment, or it can be a way to prevent yourself from having to do something you don't want to do, and protect yourself from feelings you don't want to feel. Hendricks himself realized that by treating the first signs of a cold as an upper limit symptom, he could often ward it off entirely. He hasn't had a cold or the flu in over a decade. So, we have the upper limit problem, its 4 hidden barriers, and the common ways it shows up in our lives. Now, where do we go from here? The goal isn't just to stop sabotaging ourselves. The goal is to make a big leap into a whole new way of living. For this, Hendricks introduces us to 4 distinct zones where we spend our time. The first is the zone of incompetence. These are the things you're just not good at. Many successful people waste time here, trying to do things that someone else could do far better. Think of the consultant who bills at $1,000 an hour but spends his entire weekend trying, and failing, to install a new printer to save a few bucks. The key here is to delegate or simply avoid these activities altogether. Next is the zone of competence. You can do these things, but lots of other people can do them just as well. It's easy to get trapped here, doing tasks that are part of your job but don't use your unique talents. This is the competence trap, and it can lead to burnout and a feeling of unfulfillment. The third, and most seductive, is the zone of excellence. These are the activities you are extremely good at. You make a great living here. Your family, your friends, and your company all want you to stay in this zone because you are reliable and you produce great results. It's comfortable. But Hendricks warns that this is the most dangerous trap of all. Because staying here means you are holding yourself back from your true calling. A deep, sacred part of you will wither and die if you stay in your zone of excellence. Because there is one place left to go. The ultimate destination. This is the zone of genius. Your zone of genius is the set of activities you are uniquely suited to do. They draw on your special, innate gifts and strengths. This is the place where work doesn't feel like work. It's where you feel most alive, most creative, and most purposeful. This is where you make your greatest contribution to the world. And liberating and expressing this natural genius is your ultimate path to success and life satisfaction. So how do you find your zone of genius? Hendricks gives us 4 powerful genius questions to wonder about. Not just to answer, but to live with, to explore with an open mind and an open heart. The first question is, what do I most love to do? What is the thing you love so much you can do it for long stretches of time without getting tired or bored? This points you toward the very heart of your genius. The second question gets more specific. What work do I do that doesn't seem like work? This is the part of your job that makes you think, this is why I do what I do. It's the activity that, when you're doing it, makes you feel your absolute best. The third question is about impact. In my work, what produces the highest ratio of abundance and satisfaction to the amount of time spent? There is some essential activity you do that creates huge value, even if you only do it for a few minutes. It might be a certain kind of conversation, a moment of deep thinking, or a unique way you connect with people. Your job is to find it and make it your highest priority every single day. And the final question goes to the very core of who you are. What is my unique ability? This is your superpower. It's a special skill you are gifted with that, when fully realized, provides enormous benefits to you and everyone around you. It's often a skill within a skill, something you take so for granted you might not even see it. For Hendricks, his unique ability is creating a space where people can come up with creative solutions they hadn't thought of before. To find yours, he suggests a simple exercise. Complete these sentences. I'm at my best when I'm at my best, the exact thing I'm doing is. When I'm doing that, the thing I love most about it is. As you answer these, you'll feel an inner glow of wonder and excitement. You'll know you're getting closer. Discovering your zone of genius is one thing. Learning to live there is another. It's a journey, not a destination. And for that journey, Hendricks gives us a powerful tool, the ultimate success mantra. He asks you to install this mantra at the very root of your being, as a central guiding intention for your life. The mantra is this: I expand in abundance, success, and love every day, as I inspire those around me to do the same. Say it to yourself quietly. Say it out loud. Let it resonate. This mantra is a direct antidote to the upper limit problem. The old programming told you to contract, to hold yourself back. This new instruction tells you to expand. It resets your inner thermostat for ever-increasing levels of joy. Use it as a formal meditation, and slip it into your thoughts throughout the day. When your old programming talks back with doubt and fear, just notice it, and gently return to the mantra. As you begin to live in your zone of genius, you'll also need to master what Hendricks calls the enlightened no. This is when you turn down something, even something that looks good on the surface, because it doesn't fit in your zone of genius. Every time you say no in the service of your genius, you build a stronger foundation for yourself in that zone. Finally, Hendricks brings all of this wisdom into the most important area of our lives, our relationships. A study he cites found that 80% of successful people have unsatisfying marriages. Why? Because the more successful you are, the more intensely you and your partner have to deal with the upper limit problem. Success brings more positive energy, which triggers your old low thermostat settings. The key to a vital, thriving relationship is for both partners to make a mutual commitment to transcending their upper limits and living together in the zone of genius. This means dropping projection, where you attribute your own hidden feelings to your partner. It means taking 100% responsibility. And it means speaking the microscopic truth, especially about your feelings. Getting skilled at simply saying I'm sad, I'm scared, or I feel angry creates deep intimacy. Living in the zone of genius, Hendricks says, is like riding a bicycle. It's not that hard once you get the hang of it, but it requires one thing: exquisite attention. You have to watch for the moments you slip, when you find yourself worrying or blaming. In those moments, you don't criticize yourself. You just take a deep breath, recommit, and open up again to feeling more love, success, and abundance. In one wink of an eye moment at a time, you expand your capacity for joy. And one day, you'll look up and realize you have built a beautiful life, a life beyond anything you ever imagined, right in the heart of your own genius. Commentary. As we step back and look at the powerful ideas in The Big Leap, what strikes me most is how Gay Hendricks has given a name to something we have all felt but could never quite describe. The upper limit problem. That feeling of things being too good to be true, followed by the inevitable crash. By simply identifying this pattern, he gives us a profound gift, the ability to see the invisible script that has been running our lives. For so many of us, the pursuit of success is about pushing harder, working longer, and acquiring more skills. But Hendricks turns that idea on its head. He suggests that the final obstacle isn't outside of us, it's within us. It's not a lack of talent or opportunity, but a limited tolerance for feeling good. This is a radical and deeply liberating idea. It means that the path to greater success isn't about more struggle, but about expanding our capacity for joy. The concept of the 4 zones, incompetence, competence, excellence, and genius, is a brilliant framework for self-assessment. It forces us to ask uncomfortable but necessary questions. How much of my day is spent on things I'm not good at? How much time am I trapped in competence, doing things that don't truly light me up? And most critically, am I mistaking my zone of excellence for my zone of genius? Am I coasting on my well-honed skills, comfortable and successful, while a deeper calling goes unanswered? This is perhaps the book's most urgent message. The zone of excellence is a warm, comfortable, and well-paying place. But it is also a cage. The Big Leap is the courageous act of leaving that comfortable cage for the wide-open, unknown territory of your genius. It's scary, because in your zone of genius, you can no longer make excuses. You are putting your truest self on the line. But as Hendricks makes clear, the alternative, rusting from the inside out, is far more terrifying. So, how can you start applying this today? Here are a few simple, practical actions you can take. First, just for today, become a curious observer of your own upper limit behaviors. Don't try to fix anything. Just notice. When you find yourself worrying about something you can't control, or criticizing your partner, or feeling a tension headache come on, just say to yourself, there it is. I'm upper limiting. The act of naming it, without judgment, is the first and most powerful step. Second, try the ultimate success mantra, just once. Find a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and say it to yourself, I expand in abundance, success, and love every day, as I inspire those around me to do the same. Just feel what it's like to plant that seed in your consciousness. See what happens. And third, pick one of the genius questions and just wonder about it today. For example, what do I most love to do? Don't pressure yourself for an answer. Just carry the question with you. Let it be a gentle guide, pointing you toward the activities, conversations, and feelings that make you feel most alive. The Big Leap is more than a book, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to stop playing small, to dismantle the invisible barriers you didn't even know were there, and to claim the full, magnificent life that is waiting for you. It's a call to embrace the exhilarating and sometimes scary journey into your own genius, knowing that it is the only place you will ever feel truly at home. That was a summary of The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. We've certainly journeyed through the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary is like looking at a photograph of the Grand Canyon. You can see the shape of it, but you can't feel the scale, the wind, or the breathtaking sense of awe. The real magic happens when you read the book for yourself, when a particular story or a simple phrase lands in a way you didn't expect. This podcast is here to help you decide if this book is worth your time and attention. If anything we've explored today has sparked something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and the world around you. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, If you found this summary valuable and it gave you something to think about, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that we're on the right track, and ensures you won't miss our next journey into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.